how is the syndicate doing? I know you had started to do some deals there. You were oversubscribed on the first two. You got 2,000 or 3,000 people signed up in the first 2 or 3 months. It was pretty impressive to see how quickly it grew. And obviously there's unprecedented interest now from the public in syndicates. It wasn't always like that. People were like, what is a syndicate? I'm not interested. Now everybody wants to be in them because they're seeing all these syndicates hit home runs. But tell me how that's going.
It's going really well. We did it from June to November to kind of just see data and try to learn what we could about the behavior of the syndicate. And then we did our first deal of this year. I think we kicked it off at the beginning of April, the end of March. And so we have 2 deals going. So we've done about a dozen deals.
Oh, wow.
About 2 million total. So it's anywhere from 100,000 to 500,000 per deal. And now with our new fund, that is a 506c, so I can talk about it. With our new fund, we are going to be, at least for the beginning part of it, matching or putting the certain amount in to kick things off. Because before we were actually, it was our fund. It was our, like everyone else was our LP. I'd put a personal amount minimum in to everything just to be part of it. But we didn't have all this extra capital. Yeah. And so now that's part of the model. And I think that just shows people even more, obviously, if you want to be in, we should be in, So it's exciting.
It shows you have skin in the game, right? Like if you're putting in some amount and then that was one of the original criticisms on AngelList. When I started, there were people who maybe had rich networks, but maybe were not rich in terms of capital yet. And they would be putting in $5K or $2K a deal. Yeah. But then there would be 500,000 would come in and people were like, oh, that's the not right incentive structure, whatever. And then people started raising funds. And in fact, that's what I do. I have a fund. 100% of my deals go through the fund. And then maybe 40% or 50% wind up getting syndicated if there's room for the syndicate and if the founder wants to do it. Not all founders want to do it.
Absolutely.
But it is a wonderful approach because people get to, what I love about doing it, I don't know if you've had this experience now that you've done a dozen of them. When you write the deal memo, you're like, okay, this better be a good company. I wonder what the reception is going to be. And sometimes I have like 5 times as much interest in a company. I think this is a risky one. I'm really, swinging for the fences here. And then other ones, I'm like, this is a no-brainer to me. And it does, just whatever.
Comparative 80%. To yours. Yeah. Yeah. So I absolutely. And it's at backstagecrowd.com and you can sign up. But every time we do it, it's so important and so special because things are moving really fast. To your point about earlier, before we were making $25,000 investments in companies. And at the time, absolutely was so significant to us. It was the best we could do. And now we are, we'll put something through the syndicate and wake up the next morning and there's 100,000 that's been committed. And you really just start to really play in the big leagues. Yep. And ultimately we'll be making $1 million, $2 million, $5 million out of the fund, but I'd love this part of it. I don't ever want to just skip this part of it because it just feels like, can you believe it? 6 years ago, people were laughing at this idea. Yeah. And now everyone sends their deals to us and we have to stop people at the door. It's very interesting. It's like a very surreal situation.
Yeah. It really can get heady. We've had a hard time keeping up with all the deals and we now have 7,500 accredited investors. Yeah, 600 joined last month.
Wow. That's great.
And it's bonkers, like how quickly these things can fill up. The issue I have now is we have to get bigger allocations because when you send a $400,000 allocation now and 1.2 comes in, that means, and 300 people want to invest, not just, the max is 250. You got a lot of bad feelings, right? And
that's tough. Like we're not there yet. We don't have that problem yet, Jason.
Well, I mean, we're going
to track to,
Yeah, as I told you personally, you started off much further along than we did. And our first deal, Calm, I put $50K in from our fund and $328,000, if I remember correctly, from the syndicate. So you start thinking about that as a fund manager. Okay, I had 50,000 in there. It's a $5 million company, got 1%. Okay, now I put another 300 in. Okay, now we've got
we're talking
7% of the company becomes worth $2 billion. oh my Lord, now you got $100 million plus position, which is what it
Again,
turned out to be.
Yeah. Isn't your book called like it's like how you took 100,000, turn it to 100 million, and you do that twice.
Yeah, twice. And we'll see with Robinhood or some of the other ones if that happens again. We didn't get to syndicate Robinhood, unfortunately. We just got to put a $50K check in.
Yeah.
Tell us about this 506C for your new fund, and how are you raising the new fund? Are you doing it with a Shore Fund Management, or you're doing it with AngelList, or just with a law firm?
Yeah, it's internal law firm. This is a $60 million target, and it's things get out of hand very quickly, and people get a lot of opinions about stuff. So just everybody calm down. It's a $60 million target, just like every favorite white man you've ever heard of in venture. They have a target. They go after it. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it takes a week. Sometimes it takes 2 years. We're, going to hopefully have our first close by the end of May. And we have a very structured what we're going to invest out of that, what that will be. That's what we're telling founders. And it could take 18 months to raise this. Life is what it is. In the meantime, what's been so rewarding is to be able to tell LPs, we're going to the crowd for a lot of things, and they're listening and they're reacting. And the crowd is now the biggest competitor to early stage VCs and to LPs in a way.